Aurelia. Welcome to another episode of the Never Lose a Deal podcast. Today, I am coming to you to discuss. I may have talked about it in my last video, but I'm currently right now doing a series talking about unlimited funding sources. So, before I go into it, I just want to also put a disclaimer that this show is for experienced and seasoned real estate investors who are looking to get access to funding for their real estate deals using many creative financing techniques. And that is what I'm going to be focusing on for the next couple of weeks. So today I am talking about private lending and its unlimited funding sources. So I always want to say, when I say an unlimited funding source, I am not talking from a place of being very salacious. An unlimited funding source, at least in my experience, is an untapped area for many real estate investors who are currently doing deals and really not sure. It's almost like it's an enigma. Many people don't really know how to get those relationships started, or they just don't know that it's available to them. And that is what I want to unpack over the next couple of weeks. So everything that I talk about, it's going to be based on my experience and what I have done. Now, I always say there's 100 ways to skin a cat. Everyone has their own way of doing things in business, but I can only talk about what has worked for me and I know has worked. So I'm never talking from a place of theory or what I heard someone else talk about. I can only go by what I do and what I have did to help my clients get results. So let's jump into it. So understanding private lending and unlimited funding source, what do I mean by that? Well, before I go into that, I want to kind of talk about um getting to the scale of just leveraging a private lender. So part of the framework that I teach clients when I work with people, as well as me following myself, I talk about a business funding capital stack. And it starts with credit cards. So, most people, when they think about funding in regards to real estate, right now, the buzzword, at least online, is business credit, business funding. But with the business funding capital stack part of my framework, that is the lowest level. You got business credit cards, you got lines of credit, term loans, you got asset-based lending, and then you get to private lending. So whenever I'm doing any type of workshop, I kind of unpack those different levels. But when you get to the area of private lending, you want to have already gotten some experience and did some things. Normally, I have a lot of newbie investors who are looking for private lenders. And this is not to deter anyone or to bust anybody's bubble, but most people who have not been successful with building relationships with private lenders, it's normally two things. One, they have no experience, meaning they have never did anything with their own money, which is why when I talk about the business funding capital stack, um, that is the lowest area where you can be able to leverage your own money in your business in your or either your business money. So that gives you the experience to establish your stewardship of managing your own money. Because see, once you start managing your own money and being a good steward of your money and creating something that is tangible that you can show, your ability to leverage or get access to someone else's money does not it doesn't become that difficult because you have some experience. And so going back to what I said, one of the things that hold individuals back is that they never had any experience themselves. They can't tell you how a deal works. They can't even verbally communicate what's in it for the private lender to invest in their deal. So that is one of the reasons on why many investors, real estate investors, are unable to be able to even gauge the ear of a private lenders because they have no experience. So they don't have anything that they can communicate to the private investor. The second thing is they literally think that it is a free fall. So many newbie investors or investors who don't really have any experience seem to think that they're going to play monopoly with someone else's money. So they have not uh, displayed any stewardship of their own to be able to manage their own money. And they're looking for this unlimited funding source that is going to fund their deals, but they have never did it themselves. So they just think that they're going to be able to play monopoly with someone else's money. And that is why I wanted to talk about these next couple of weeks about private lending and the highest level of the business funding capital stack. Because right now we're in a time and place where, depending on what conversation you're listening to, there are a lot of opportunities out there in real estate. And how could one be able to take advantage of the opportunities? I know, me for myself, just with what I do on a business standpoint with real estate, for myself and for my business, the deals are unlimited, and the ability to get funding is unlimited. Because this is what you've heard me say this, and if you haven't, one thing that I always say is that if you have an asset that has the ability to generate money, once again, the asset that I'm talking about is real estate, you will not have a problem getting money. But the missing piece is that most people don't have the asset or don't have control of the asset. And of course, there are some circumstances where it may not work. You may be over leveraged on a property, or the loan to value may be off. But outside of all that, let's just say that you do have a real estate asset, and it doesn't matter what type of asset it is. So I'm not going to focus on one particular asset. But if you have an asset that has equity, the loan to value is low, it's 60% or 70%. Your ability to get funding against that asset is not going to be a problem. Your ability to communicate to a private lender on how it can financially work with for him or her is not going to be a problem as well. But when I talk about an unlimited funding source, well, one may say, "Well, Lorelia, where's this unlimited source of private lenders?" And I want to say, and I always categorize private lenders in three different buckets. You have the warm ones, meaning family members, business colleagues, people that you've may have partnered on real estate deals, that are maybe looking to um, leverage their own money to be able to get some type of return. Because currently, right now, most people aren't earning much on their money, especially if it's sitting in some type of account, investment account for stocks. They're probably not earning that much. But you'll be surprised that there's a whole nother pool of money that is available, which are real estate investors who own self directed IRAs. So when I talk about the unlimited funding source, I'm talking about self directed IRAs. Self directed IRAs is an IRA that you have the possession to be able to direct what type of investments can be held in the IRA. When most people think about an IRA, they think about index funds, they think about stocks, they think about bonds. But a lot of people do not know that with self directed IRAs, there is a laundry list of different assets that you can hold within the IRA. Real estate is one of them. So there are different custodian accounts custodians, I should say, who help real estate investors manage these funds that are holding real estate in them, whether they are creating some type of income from them or what have you. And what is the missing piece is that a lot of investors who are looking for private lenders don't even know that that is an untapped place where these investors who are holding these self-directed IRAs are looking to grow their accounts. Hence, they are looking to be a private lender on your real estate deal. And what happens is that I have a lot of people who always come to me and they say, "Well, Maria, where are all these private lenders?" And I always say, "Well, they're right in the public records. Everything is open to you. You can literally go to the public records, which is um there's public records all over the country. It's really just the county courthouse. Now, of course, there's some online sites that you can go to, but you can literally go on these online sites and you can find these real estate investors who own self-directed IRAs. Now, of course, like I said, my goal is to not be salacious. Now, you're not going to just call them up and say, "Hi, Mr. Self-directed IRA owner, can you give me $10,000?" No, but you do have the ability to market your deal to these private lenders because they have access to funds in their IRA. The missing piece when it comes to bridging these two worlds together is that there's a lack of marketing from the investor standpoint. And so many investors do not know that you can literally market to these individuals. You can market yourself, market your deals to them to establish a relationship. Now, like I said, it is not going to happen overnight. Now, remember when I talked about you have your warm private lenders that may be willing to lend to you. That could be family members, that could be business colleagues, that could be other investors you've worked with. Well, when it comes to self-directed IRAs and the owners of those accounts, who are a lot of times private lenders, those are cold relationships, meaning they don't know you, you don't know them. And what that means is, but you do have an ability to be able to market to them. And that is why I said it is an unlimited, untapped source. Because most people, when they think about, "I'm looking for a private lender," they're thinking about hard money. And I'm not talking about a hard money lender. I'm talking about someone who is a self directed IRA owner who has access to funds in their account, who are looking to be able to grow that account. And they're going to do it by investing in real estate, by loaning their money out. Because when they loan their money out, they're earning interest on it. That is why I said in the beginning that the difficulty that real estate investors have, even if they are seasoned, is that a lot of times they don't know their numbers. They don't know their numbers to the point to be able to communicate to a person on what's in it for the investor to invest in their real estate deal. They can't communicate it. Most real estate investors come from a place of need. They come from a place of, "I need this, I need that." And so when they come from a place of lack, understand, um, people can smell desperation. You're not, and so many investors, real estate investors, are not coming from a place of positioning. Because see, when you know your numbers, and if you have did deals, you know how to explain to a potential investor what the cash on cash return could be. You know, they loan you X amount of money. You can establish the interest rate, and you can literally calculate what is what they can possibly earn with investing in you. Now, of course, everything set aside is different depending on what area of real estate you invest in. I mean, of course, you know, fix and flips are going to be different than someone who owns real estate notes. That's going to be different than, you know, wholesaling. I mean, of course, every piece is different, but you want to be able to communicate what is in it for that private lender. Because what happens is that you have some individuals who, I have talked about, and they have and they've said, you know what, Lorelia, I'm talking to a private lender, and they, are telling me that these are their terms. And I always try like to say that when you're working with a private lender, now I'm not talking about hard money lender, a private individual who's willing to leverage their funds a lot of times from their self-directed IRAs, it is a meeting of the minds. It is a meeting of, well, if they have established the terms to you, then can you communicate to them if those terms would even work for you? Because once again, you don't want to be in a position where you don't even know if those terms are good. Most people are just so excited when they get a private lender. I was recently talking to someone 2 weeks ago, and they told me they're working with a private lender, and I was asking them, okay, well, what type of yield is your investor earning on the money that they're lending you? And the person was unable to answer that. Like, they didn't even understand the question. Well, what do you mean by yield? Like, how is someone lending you money and you don't even know the terminology? And so that tells me that the ball is held heavy in the private lenders ball in their favor, because this investor was unable to even answer some of the questions that I was asking the person. I mean, because some people get so excited of, oh, this person is lending me money, that once again, they're unable to be able to communicate what's in it for them and what's in it for the real estate investor. And so that is why, like I said, the unlimited funding source is to tap into self-directed IRAs. Self-directed IRAs is an unlimited funding source where there is a huge amount of investors who are holding money in their IRA and they're looking to put it to work. And I know you're saying, well, Aurelia, how do I find them? It goes back to, there are county court records that you can find these investors. Now, that's if you're willing to do the work yourself. Now, of course, you can buy lists. You can go to list buying places, and you can buy a list online of these investors and you can market to them. Now, another source of finding unlimited opportunities to find private lenders is, and I hate to say this, could be a local RIA. Now, this is the one area that I have not touched into, but I've seen other investors who it's worked for. Because if you go to any local RIAs, I don't really go to any RIAs no more. There's usually RIAs are for people who just started out in real estate. But at the RIAs, you kind of know who is doing deals. And then, of course, you also have the ability to, usually it's like, stand up, you tell someone, hey, are you, what type of deal you're working on? You tell the group the numbers and everything. And then you may have people, if the numbers are they make sense, you'll have people who come to you, and then they will share with you that that the numbers will work for them. That is another source. I mean, it's not nothing that I have did, but it has worked for people, because you are in a community and an environment where people are doing real estate deals, where people are lending money. And so that will give you the ability to build relationships and find other people who are lending money. So my goal for the next couple of weeks is to really tap in and talk more about the self-directed IRAs. Although I just, mentioned some others, but I really want to just hunker down in that area of private lending. So my goal for the next couple of weeks is to talk more about that topic, um, talk about ways that working with self-directed IRA owners can help you fund your deals. Because on this show, on Never Lose a Deal podcast, that is my goal, to talk more about some creative ways that you can get your deals funded. And so, like I said, private lending being the highest level of the business funding capital stack. So, want to talk more about self-directed IRAs, how those investors can potentially fund your next deal. So once again, this is Lorelia. Hope you found value in what I had to share with you today, and looking forward to talking to you in the next video. Once again, if you are watching on YouTube, please leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And then also, if you're listening on the podcasting platforms, please rate and let me know your thoughts there as well. So this is Lorelia signing off. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.